Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here with you today. I want to talk today about a question that I believe is existential for Nigeria. It will affect our existence as a nation. And as funny as that might look, but it's going to be about trees. Today I want to give Nigeria as a nation and all Nigerians that are living in Nigeria this challenge. And I call it 10 billion trees challenge for Nigeria. 10 billion trees challenge. Now, why is this important? Now, a lot of people will say, we are not even having food to eat, and you are talking about trees. I mean, we don't have anything to do or what? Because I know the mentality of our people. That's the way the people will talk. Don't we have anything to do? I mean, human beings are not eating, and you want to plant trees. Well, one of the reasons why we cannot eat and why we are not producing enough food products is because of deforestation. It's because we are not planting trees, and because the trees are being destroyed, and because forest is disappearing. And when forest disappears, then we have hunger. Then we have Sahara is expanding down, and the land cannot produce agricultural produce, and of course, then there will be no feed for animals. All the major problem we have in Nigeria today is because of deforestation, and I'm surprised that President Buhari has not taken this problem even much more serious and much more urgently. Because when I was a young man growing up in Nigeria in the 80s, well, I remember when President Buhari came to power, one of the first things that he did, he was only there for about 20 months. And one of the things that he took as priority was planting of trees. I mean, they encouraged all the school boys and girls to go and plant trees. We started planting trees. He himself, General Buhari at that point, led his whole cabinet to the field, and they were all planting trees. I mean, that was a great one. But now that he's become a president, civilian president, it's like he's not even mentioning it. It's not even, I mean, I know he has mentioned Lake Chad situation, that there is, the Lake Chad is fast disappearing. But why, Mr. President, why do you think that is happening? It's mainly also because of the change in climate, and the change in climate could only be curtailed right now by planting trees, planting of trees. We need to return the forest so that we'll be able to save our country. This question is existential for us. Our life or death depends on how much we're able to return our trees. Let me give you some statistics. As of 2005, Nigeria is the largest, has become the country with the highest rate of deforestation in the world. We cut trees, destroyed trees more than any other country in the whole world. Whereas, compare that to our independence, when we got independence. At the time of independence, we were one of the countries with the largest amount of forest in the whole world. The 90% of our country was full of forest. But deforestation was high in Nigeria. We were a blessed country. That's why we could use the Lake Chad. That's why we didn't have the Fulani herdsmen killing one another, because most of them stayed in the north. But because of deforestation, most of them have to come to the south. And that's why we're having this crisis with Fulani herdsmen. But now, you know what has happened since independence? 60% of our forest has been destroyed, has been cut by businessmen, people just cutting trees anyhow. And we are only left with 30% now. Nigeria is only left with 30% of forest, the whole landscape of Nigeria. But 60% of it, 70% of it has been destroyed. But only in the last, from the year 2000, we have 60% been destroyed. I mean, that has been cut down and has not been replaced. So Nigeria has lost about 60% or 55.7% of its primary forest since between 2000 and 2005. Just between 2000 and 2005, we lost almost 60% of our primary forest. And we are not planting new ones. Now, we all complain about the struggle that our country is going through between the herdsmen and the farmers. Why are the farmers coming down to the south? Why are they going to the middle belt? Why are they killing people? But we are not taking actions to curtail the primary reason why these herdsmen are causing chaos. And the primary reason is because they don't have forestation. They don't have feed for their animal. Deforestation is the reason. The primary reason why these people are, why we have the herdsmen crisis is not, okay, the killing, we are addressing the killing, but that is more emotional, sentimental response. We are supposed to look into the reasons and go into the depth of the whole reason, this cause and effect. We are supposed to rule our country through the principle of cause and effect. The cause of all this earthment problem is the very primary cause is deforestation. And if the country is not addressing that, and we want to do Nuga or Ruga, we want to do this and that, those are just secondary stuff. We need to address the primary reason first. There are other consequences, many other consequences of all the problems that we have in Nigeria that are connected to deforestation of any nation. So what are the consequences of deforestation to a country? Deforestation has negative implications to the environment, especially erosion. So when there are no enough trees, we have erosion. Erosion is when rain comes and destroys the land and the farmers cannot cultivate. And the farm produce begin to be destroyed and the farmers are helpless. Now, another consequence is loss of biodiversity. The country will not be able to produce all the different crops and all the different kind of things we were producing before. Biodiversity is loss of it is a problem that is a result of deforestation. Another problem of deforestation is ecosystem. The ecosystem is destroyed. So the harmony of the nature that is supposed to give us health, that is supposed to give us fresh air, that's supposed to cause plants to breathe and to produce is destroyed because there are no enough trees to produce that. Now, another problem of deforestation is loss of wildlife. The amount of wildlife, the amount of animals and something, they are being destroyed because there are no feed for them. So we are losing in tourism, we are losing in food production, we are losing, through the conflict of the herdsmen that are looking elsewhere and looking for land and then conflicting with the local people. There are other consequences of deforestation, like increased deforestation deforestation will lead to more deforestation, and there are so many other reasons and other things that deforestation will cause. Deforestation has also impact on social aspect of people. People will be moving from village because there are nothing for them to do in the village. So there are social aspects to the country, that deforestation that is caused by deforestation. People are migrating, people cannot work their land, people don't have food to eat, and it increases poverty. So the poverty we are talking about is also largely because of deforestation. Specifically regarding economic issues, there are, the agriculture, when agriculture is paralyzed, then there will be poverty. When there is conflict, people will be fighting for land, people will be fighting for territory, like we have the herdsmen and the farmers right now. So there is going to be conflict in the country that causes social tension in the country. And most importantly is the quality of life of the whole country falls. So if the quality of life is falling, the government is supposed to take this serious. So what are the things we can do? What are the solutions? People could be saying, you are talking too much. What do you want us to do? Well, I already said it. We need to begin to plant trees. In some countries, there are politics. Actually, I think when I was growing, there was a ministry of forestation or something like that, or forest or forestry, I think they call it forestry. We need to have a ministry for forestation or forestry in some country, and then we need to have a policy. And I want to use this opportunity to challenge the National Assembly as well. We need to pass a bill as fast as possible. I challenge the senators and the House of Representative members to come up with a bill to have a policy for forestation again in Nigeria, for planting of trees in Nigeria. Let's learn from other countries. There are some countries that plant trees every time you give birth to a child. You cannot get birth certificate until you plant a tree in the name of that child. So that way, the way they are giving birth to children, they are also giving birth to new trees, and their country is being preserved. That is what Europe does. That is what they do in advanced countries, in countries that have foresight, that are thinking ahead. Can you imagine how many births we have, new births, how many children are being born in Nigeria every day? We have 7 million children born every year in Nigeria. 7 million children. So we could be having 7 million trees, also replacing the ones that we have lost. But if there is no policy like that, if there are no way to control things, then we will just die one day because the whole country would die. The heat will even kill us because we don't have a policy of restoring the ecosystem. Some of the in some other countries there are other ways to do it. I'm just giving you ideas. In other countries, when you take your child to a school, so you take your child to primary school or nursery school, you must, before your child could be admitted, you must prove that you have planted a tree. So we could do something like that in Nigeria too. But when we take our children to school, let them plant 10 trees. When you give birth to a child, let them, for a child you give birth to, let the family plant 10 or 100 trees. So these are things we could do to be able to restore, our forestry and the forest that we have lost in our countries. In some other countries, they have, like in this country where I live in Ukraine, they have a whole ministry for forestry. And ministries with workers, with a minister, and the whole thing they do is to systematically plant and maintain forest on daily basis. These people are working 24 hours on daily basis to plant and maintain forest of their country. So that is what we are supposed to be doing as well. Maybe we need to learn from those and do something like that. Maybe something is going to be different, but we need to find a way of maintaining and planting on daily basis. Like in this country, even in my own house, I have trees. If I cut a tree in my house, I have to pay fine for it. Even in my house, it's my land. I have to still pay money for it. And that money is given to the Ministry of Forestry, and they use that money to plant many more trees to replace the one that I cut. But there are no others like this in our country. We need foresight. We are not a nation of foresight. And that is the biggest deficit and minus that I see in this government and the governments before, that we are not planning, we are not building our government with intention of what is the future holding, what will come in future. We are just concurrently running the government. We are just, putting off the fire. We are doing fire brigade kind of government. That is evil. We need visionary leaders that will rule the country through foresight. We are rather a nation of consumers. We just want everything to be ready and we just go and buy it or just go and use it. We don't know how to build. We are not builders. And that is why I began to do this kind of, this is my charge to Nigeria and Nigerians that I'm doing, is to be able to raise up a new mentality in our leaders, for our leaders to begin to think differently. In normal countries, people plant trees around their houses. But in Nigeria, when you want to build a house, you remove the trees. That is like our culture. We remove all trees when we want to build a house. Even in the cities, we remove the trees. But in real countries, in normal countries, they plant trees. For every house that you build or anything, you must plant 10 trees or 20 trees or 100 trees around your street because you build one house. We must get some policies together to make sure that we enforce the forestation of our country, to restore life, ecosystem, to restore the ecosystem of our country. Now, let's take a country like New Zealand, for example. Right now, they are making a plan of planting 1 billion trees. A small country like New Zealand, they want to plant 1 billion trees. Though they don't have the kind of troubles that we have with herdsmen, with the farmers, with the conflict, with the poverty, with the ecosystem, with hunger, but still they are looking forward. A small country like, how many people live in New Zealand? Maybe 10 million or 20 million, but they are planting 1 billion trees. So if they could they could see the problem and address it already. And they don't even have problem that we have. What are we doing as a country? What are our leaders doing? Are we sleeping? Look at India. India doesn't have the intensity of the problem we have with the herdsmen and the farmers and the poverty, and they have done better. But even they are having a national program. And in India, their own practice is that every day, that is the plan. Every year they are planting 50 million trees. Once a day, they take 1 day, tree planting day every year. And in that day, they plant 50 million new trees in a day. That is what they do. So what is our own strategy about this? But of course, let me give you the one that has really, the example that we must really emulate, and the ones that have really, that should serve as an inspiration to Nigeria. Ethiopia is a champion in this. I don't know if you heard about it, and I think we must learn from them. What Ethiopia did, in 12 hours, just in one day, Ethiopians were able to plant 350 million trees. Quarter of a million, more than quarter of a million, almost 500,000 trees in one day, in 12 hours. But their goal is to plant 4 billion trees before the end of this year. 4 billion trees. Ethiopia, one country, 4 billion trees. They just want to restore their country and resolve the ecological problem and bring prosperity back to the country. But what is Nigeria doing? We don't even talk about it as if it's a problem. If Ethiopia, with their population that is much less than ours, could plant 350 million trees in one day, in 12 hours. In one day, Nigerians can plant 1 billion easy, because we are bigger than them, and we can organize that. In one day, we can plant 1 billion trees. Then the way I see it is this: with our population, if we could plant 1 billion trees in a day, I hope our government is listening, then we could take 10 days in a year. 10 days in a year, and then that way we could be able to plant 10 billion trees every year, and make it a government policy, and make it compulsory that every year we are planting 10 billion trees. If we'll be able to do that, prosperity will come back to our land. And I hope the president of my country, my own president, President Muhammad Buhari, I hope he's listening. And I hope the government is listening. I hope the ministers are listening. I hope everybody is listening in the country right now to this, my appeal. So that is what I would like to say about this tree planting challenge, 10 billion trees challenge to the people of Nigeria and to the government of Nigeria. Please, let us do something now about this. Let's take this very seriously, everybody. And people will say, stop talking, you are not in Nigeria. But you know what? Those in Nigeria will benefit if the government will take this serious. Let's organize every school member, every school to participate. Let's organize the colleges, the secondary schools, primary schools. Let's organize universities. Just one day, one Saturday even. Let everybody come out. Instead of the sanitation, they just do. What are the results of the sanitation? We are not saying it. Let's organize with the sanitation also tree planting days for the sanitation day every month. Let's begin to plant trees every month. Then we will make our country a prosperous country once again, for the love of God, church, and nation. Peace. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now, we need to spread this word, and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number one thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number 2, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment. Write your comment, good or bad. Just write what you feel. Number 5, share on every platform. Share on Instagram, share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.